The lesson from Virginia is pretty simple. The Democrats, the party of bullies, they lost the election for governor of Virginia because, it's one thing for the left to push around adults, abuse them, yell at them, force them to wear face masks even outside, call them racist, that sort of stuff. And, easy because a lot of people don't want trouble. They put up with that kind of thing. But when you touch their kids, whoa, now you're really asking for trouble. And in Virginia, the Democrats got it, big time. They have lost Virginia, the state that Joe Biden won last year by 10 points. And looking back, there were three things that came right out of the mouth of the Democrat candidate that absolutely killed this campaign stone dead. And I wonder how long it'll take the Democrats to figure this out. Three things. The first and worst was a moment when Republican Glenn Youngkin really knocked out frontrunner Democrat Terry McAuliffe. And it was this moment in their debate, an exchange that just said it all, when Youngkin talked about parents being outraged by some of the books that woke teachers were pushing onto their kids. And McAuliffe, well, the sheer arrogance of his response. Listen to this.
What we've seen over the course of the last 20 months is our school systems refusing to engage with parents. In fact, in Fairfax County this past week, we watched parents so upset because there was such sexually explicit material in the library they had never seen. It was shocking. And in fact, you vetoed the bill that would have informed parents that they were there. You believe school systems should tell children what to do. I believe parents should be in charge of their kids' education.
I don't think parents should be telling schools what they should teach.
Parents shouldn't have a say in how their own kids are taught. But listen, doesn't that sound exactly like the modern Democrat? Whatever it is they're selling, you've got to shut up and take it, or else. Because if you've got a problem with it, if you don't like, for instance, the new critical race politics being pushed onto your own kids, there's no discussion with the left. You are just a racist. And that was McAuliffe's second biggest blunder in his campaign. Not just to lie about what his schools were actually teaching and treating parents like fools, but then calling them racist for not shutting up about it.
How do you define critical race theory?
I answer this question very clearly. It's not taught in Virginia, and it's never been taught in Virginia. And as I've said this a lot, it's a dog whistle. It's racial, it's division, it's racist. It's a dog whistle.
Again, the authentic voice of the modern Democrat. Just swallow the poison we're giving you. In fact, make your own kids swallow it, or we'll smack you around for being a racist. What on earth made them think this kind of stuff worked? I mean, you even had the Biden White House getting the Department of Justice to monitor parents who spoke out at school board meetings as if they were domestic terrorists. And the other rubbish that parents had to put up with. The Democrats closing schools down in the big metro areas for 18 months because of their virus panic and all the other stuff that went with it. Forcing kids around the country to wear face masks at school, giving them vaccines when children are so very unlikely to get very sick. And if McAuliffe's campaign wasn't dead already, he closed it off by making clear he'd start choosing teachers by their race and not their ability. And a lot of white teachers, well, they just had to go.
50% of the students in Virginia schools, K-12, 50% are students of color, and yet 80% of the teachers are white. We all know what we have to do in a school to make everybody feel comfortable in school. So let's diversify.
And like I said, adults might put up with that kind of treatment or at least shut up about it because who wants to be called racist? But you touch their kids and even the sheep will roar. Now here's a key fact, a demographic fact that helps to explain why the Democrats on Tuesday lost Virginia. Look at the voters in Virginia. Republicans aged under 55 with children, 61%. 61. Democrats with children, 45%. And that made Republicans probably more motivated than Democrats to go out and vote. But even some Democrats with children were putting up with this craziness, preaching race politics to their children in schools. And for some parents, like Azra Namani, to have McAuliffe just dismiss them as racist wasn't just an insult, it proved he was a liar.
I am a Muslim woman of color, and I am telling you, we are not white supremacists. If this is what a white supremacist looks like, then you need to go back to... You need to get a time out. All of you need a time out.
McAuliffe seemed to go through this campaign like a caricature of a woke Democrat, a bully whose answer to criticism is to say, shut up and swallow whatever you fed. He just couldn't stop. It's just too deep in the Democrat culture now, which is why his social media campaign has signed off in disgust at the result, tweeting, "Get effed, you Confederate country. Have fun with your low taxes and no morals." Very gracious. And now some of the media still can't stop this habit of years of lazily assuming that opponents of their bullying and their race baiting must be racists, that the new governor must be a racist, surely, and so must his new lieutenant governor, even if she's actually black.
Stoking that kind of soft white nationalism eventually leads to the hardcore stuff.
How long is the left going to keep up this habit of abuse and bullying and insulting their opponents and assuming they're racist or in some way morally null? When will Democrats learn that their bullying has now been called out, at least in Virginia, and that when they come for even the kids, they cross a bright line?